like me before going to England, I'd never really thought about it that deeply. I think I've thought about, the difference between chicken breasts and chicken thighs more deeply than wearing a mask. That's...
You should have just turned around and guy being like, it ain't that deep, bro. I'm just wearing a mask. Get off my back.
That's why I was just like, no. I was like, leave me alone. What are you going to do? Like,
rip the mask off.
oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, fuck off.
Jesus.
One positive thing that I think changed about England though since I've been back is ever since the pandemic, a lot of big establishments now have made it possible for you to just order your food via QR codes.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And I was just like, great, we're getting to the Japanese way of things now.
Yeah,
less human interaction. Brilliant. I love it.
I was at Nando's.
As you are.
I had to pause there just for dramatic. Yeah. I was at Nando's and I was trying to order my meal and I was in a kind of a rush as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much time and I thought, it'll be easier on the air. Turns out, like this specific Nando's restaurant just didn't have good cell phone service. And they didn't have free Wi-Fi. So I was like fighting for my life trying to order this fucking thing. And every single time I got to one web page, I just could not get to the next one. And it was like I had to keep resetting. So I spent about 20 minutes trying to order this meal that I only had 10 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
And then I eventually just went up to the counter and I was like, give me this. And they got my fucking order wrong.
You just couldn't get a dog.
I was like, oh my God, man! I'm fighting out here just to get some Nando, and it was terrible. I mean, it didn't taste good either.
Really?
The specific Nando's did not taste good, and I was like,
what did you order?
I ordered a butterfly chicken burger.
I mean the chicken breast burger.
Yeah, chicken breast.
Don't. Just don't.
I had great Nando's when I was back. I fucking missed that.
The chips were kind of shit. The coleslaw was not as good as I remembered. I don't know. It was. I don't know if my taste of chicken.
Maybe Nando's isn't just as good as you remember.
Or maybe that Nando's specifically. I need to try more Nando's because I had KFC and that was fantastic. I had UK KFC was so goddamn good.
UK KFC is good.
Yes, that's so much.
I'll tell you the second biggest thing I noticed, which was I really, really missed Japanese food service.
Yeah. So many times I'd go to restaurants and like half the tables still had the shit from their previous customers on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that just like isn't a thing in Japan. Like that shit's gone.
Yeah.
Like they won't even let you in the restaurant.
I mean, sometimes they'll take the plate away while you're still at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think after being there for like 2 weeks or something, you've had like all the food that you missed from being in Japan, and then after that you go back to your usual eating routine and you're just like, man, like you forget how good Japanese food is and just like Japanese restaurants in general, because like you order anything here, even if it's off Uber Eats or go to a random restaurant, and it is just like really good food standards. And I just have forgotten how many British establishments were just really, really fucking mediocre, right? And like after like the novelty wears out of, yes, I'm having all these things that I miss being out of the UK. After that wears off, you're like, damn, Japanese food is just better. it is just so much better. And I've really felt that in my last week in the UK, where I just missed having good food on the daily. And
Did you have any Japanese food while you were out
No, I didn't have any Japanese food.
Some of my friends wanted to, and I looked at them like, no, we're not having Japanese food.
It's like the first time I ever went to LA and they took me to Little Tokyo. I was like, you fucking kidding me? I came from Big Tokyo,
It's like that episode of The Simpsons when they go to Japan, they go to America too.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, come on.
Yeah, because like what I didn't understand, because I just realized this, is the UK is also an island nation like Japan, but Japan is really salty with good seafood. And just fresh seafood that you can find everywhere, basically. And just like getting good seafood in the UK is so fucking difficult, and I don't know why it is, because we're an island nation that is smaller than Japan. Our coastline should be easier to get to. Why is it so hard to find good? Why is it so hard to find good seafood? That is not just like fish and chips,
Yeah.
I did have a good lobster actually.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
But how much did you pay for it?
Don't want to know.
Yeah.
was,
That's the thing, right? It's like it's probably like if you want good seafood in the UK, you probably have to pay arduous amounts of money for it.
You do.
It was like a seafood pasta, and I was really craving lobster because I was like, I didn't really get lobster in Japan, and I really wanted like a creamy.
Do we get lobster in the UK?
Yeah.
If you can afford it.
It's quite expensive. For like not frozen canned stuff. And it was really good, and it was probably the most I'd spent on a single dish in the UK, and it was something ridiculous, like $30, $40 or something. But man, was the lobster good. It was so worth it.
Worth?
Yeah, every once in a while, having like something like that, like treating yourself to something kind of that expensive is very nice. But
Yeah.
definitely something I felt so guilty for when I was looked at the bill. I'm like, I literally had a pasta. I'm like filing a mortgage. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I did something similar in Hawaii. I had a $55 pasta.
But it was but like once in a while,
Pasta should not be that expensive.
once in a while, you got to treat yourself.
But
You
like,
do,
but
you
there was,
do.
but it was again, it was another seafood pasta. I don't know what it is about seafood pasta, but like, there was it was like the entire cast of The Little Mermaid on this fucking pasta. Like, there was so much seafood on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I can see why.
Also,
Also, like $55.
yeah.
I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
I don't know how Australia is, but I noticed that the fancy restaurants in Japan are cheaper than the fancy restaurants in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
By a lot.
By far.
I would go to a restaurant because in Japan, right, you can go to a restaurant and you can buy a bottle of wine, and it's even though it's obviously more expensive than when you're buying it wholesale, it's still not that bad. Like you can, if we went out together, we could split a bottle of wine, and it comes to like $20 each, right? For like maybe I don't know.
Actually, I noticed wine in the UK was way cheaper. Which is
Really,
why I
some
went
place
fucking mental.
some place I went to, like the lowest price bottles of $150, and I was like, I want wine.
What kind of bougie ass place are you going
Yeah.
to?
Not even like that bougie places. Like,
Right.
these were like,
But the wine was bougie.
I think I don't know. Maybe I should fuck me for trying to eat good.
No, because I remember going to like Tesco's and Co-op to buy like some wine, and I recognized some of the wine that was available
Okay.
there.
Store
Or like
wine's very
premium wines here in Japan that is like $20 plus. You can
That's
get
true.
for like a £5 or £7 in like Tesco's, and I was just
Yeah,
like,
but I think that's just because Japan isn't really a wine drinker.
no, that's
country.
exactly
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And for the most part, when I noticed wines that were available, you can get wines for like a much cheaper price.
Yeah.
Because if you're drinking wine in Japan, you eating good. You know?
Oh,
you drink
yeah.
you drinking
You drinking
good as
good.
well.
This was the hard part. I wanted to have the wine that was way cheaper and nice, but I also wanted to drink all the beer. So I had to like. It was very hard having to decide.
You can't do both.
You can't mix and
Yeah.
match, otherwise you end up in you're going to be in a coma the next day. 'Cause I had to drink the next day, so I had to make sure that I was in peak condition at all times. So.
That was the biggest thing that I forgot about, which was tactically choosing how much you drink so you can survive and drink the next day as well. God, we sound like such alcoholics
Yeah,
now.
right.
Because I miss having like nice. You can get IPAs and stuff like that in Japan, but
Yeah.
like I love like the craft beer in the UK. It's really nice.
I miss having good ciders.
cider
Ciders
as
was like
well.
the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That, like, I went-
lagers. I miss having
Lagers,
nice
yeah.
lagers. I don't know. I just missed that, so I drank a lot. I had a Tesco meal deal as well.
How was it? Was it good?
It was amazing. I was like, all of this for £3? Get out of here. You
He
guys-
says after having his lobster pasta,
Yeah.
goes straight to
50.
Tesco's.
I bought that lobster pasta for like $30, $40. I don't know how much it was, and it still didn't make me as happy as that £3 meal deal. And it was better. Honestly, parts of it tasted better. I was like, oh my god, I get an innocent smoothie. It's like £3 smoothie in this £3 meal deal. They're practically giving it away.
I was happy going back to Nando's. That was like the biggest. I'm home now. I am now home.
I had Subway as well. That was nice.
Oh, Subway. I've forgotten how good Subway was outside of Japan.
Because Subway in Japan, if you guys don't know, you can't toast the sandwich. You can't pick your bread.
No. I mean, there's like it's two choices of bread.
What the fuck is the point if you can't pick your bread and choose to toast it? Like, I was so shocked when you couldn't toast your sandwich in Japan. I was
Yeah.
like, you what? That's like the best part of any. I don't even like Subway.
That's literally
Yeah.
the drawing point of Subway.
Yeah, because
I don't even like it
because we
that
can
much.
like Uber Eats Subway here. And sometimes when these two don't want to choose, they order a Subway, and I'm just like, if I'm not having my Subway toasted, it is not a Subway.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fast food. I'm surprised I'm not obese by the amount I drank.
Every time I saw you in the holiday, I think you had a bag of crisps. Like
Bro, I went to town on Chris.
I think you were like more crisp than man at
I
one
was.
point.
There was like one day where like we were hanging out and there was like no food in this like Airbnb, but there was like family packs of crisps. So I'd eat like 20 packs of crisps.
I think your dinner that day was like a hot dog and like 5 packs of Doritos.
No, it wasn't 5. It was,
Fucking hell.
it was like 8. It was 8.
It was 8, okay.
Eating like a true gamer,
I
right?
literally like went full gamer mode and just ate only like chips. I was like, or
Christ.
crisps, I should say, before British people would kill me.
I almost said chips as well, which is why I paused. I was like, wait, that's not. That's
Sorry,
crisp.
sorry. I'm used to saying it for the Americans.
Yeah.
Chips.
The Americans watching. But yeah, no, it was fun. I had a great time. I got to see all the friends I wanted to see, and
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, a lot of things really worked out nicely because I was asking people like last minute to hang out, and luckily everyone was able to.
Yeah. I think like I had enough rest days in there. Well, towards the end, because my body was just like, I need to like not touch alcohol for like a month after this, and, which is great because we've had quarantine since then. And
Yeah, tell us about the hotel experience.
So
That's what I want to know.
we were
Okay, no. This experience doesn't start from the hotel. It starts from the point where we get off the plane.
It starts before that. It starts before we've left the fucking country. It's already like,
Oh yeah, that's
already freaking out.
me and Connor had two very different experiences. Leaving the country and getting back in the country.
Yeah, so, I mean, how should we do this? How should we split this up? Should we just, I'll have a go by section.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so first of all, the most annoying part, which is to get even on the plane, you need a negative COVID test form. Now, I am making a video about my quarantine hotel thing, so there'll be in-depth stuff about that if you're interested, by the way. But I'll give you the... I want to talk more about it because I didn't want to bog down that video. We're just complaining for 9 hours. So we're going to complain on Trash Taste for 9 hours instead. So this whole thing is like confusing, right? So normally, if you want a negative test, most test providers would just give you a form saying, hey, you're negative. Take this, and then everyone will accept it, normally. Problem is, Japan doesn't work like that. Japan just decided we got to do things a little bit different.
We're doing it our way.
Yeah, Japan's like, how about
It's literally our way or the highway.
Yeah.
Right.
it's like, how about we just give you a form that you need to fill out the very specific way that we want it filled out, and this just sends fear down anyone who knows Japan because you know they're not playing games.
Yeah.
I have heard that some airlines will let you on with the negative test and you don't need that one, but why would you risk it? So I was shitting myself because I was like, how the fuck do I fill out this form? So this form needs to be signed and stamped by a doctor. Can't be a nurse. It has to be a doctor. The test can be administered by a nurse, but it has to be signed and stamped by a doctor. Right? So, but most testing facilities don't have a doctor who's going to stamp or sign it. So then now you can find a doctor that will stamp it. Turns out, like, none of these test centers have doctors that are willing to sign or stamp things for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So managed to find... I found after I went to the UK government website and got the email of every single test provider they recognize and sent out a mass email to all of them. This was a big mistake because then what ended up happening was it was one thread.
Replying to each
No.
other.
It was a blind carbon copy, so they weren't replying to each
Okay.
other. But for me, it was one thread.
Yeah.
So I sent this email off, and within about 10 minutes, I realized the mistake that I'd made because I had 15 replies in one thread, and I couldn't keep
So
track.
you basically opened a forum post.
I basically opened a forum post directly to the person. And so I got like 50 responses in the first day of people being like, this is okay. But then some of them were like, yes, this is totally fine. But they didn't say yes to everything.
Okay.
So I had to then call up places that said yes, and I walked them through it. And I was like, are you sure this is okay? And one of them was like, yeah, that's no problem. We've done it all the time. We've had people go to Japan all the time for Moxie. And I'm like, great, okay, so I booked on with them. £150, $200.
Yeah.
So, but I know Japan. I know that I should have a backup just in case, because I don't fucking trust that this is. I should, because you have to get it 72 hours before. So if I fuck this up, I'm panicking to try and find something. So I booked 2.
Yeah.
I booked another test, but this place said book a test with us, and then when you get your results 3 hours later, take those results and book a doctor appointment, and then get the doctor to sign and stamp it.
Jesus
So I did
Christ.
that too.
Yeah.
So I had that first. So I went to this testing facility at 8 a.m. I shoved the needles. I'm dying. And then I get my results at 11. I'm like, great. So then I go to the doctor, and perfect. They sign it all, they stamp it all. It was all super easy. But I had to pay individually for both of those things. So it was like £150 for the test again.
Right.
Or, no, 90 for that one. And then 90 for the doctor's appointment. So this is already like $400, $500
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
on the test.
Yeah.
Not counting the amount you have to pay for the test in the country as well. 'Cause you have to pay for you have to a lot of things people don't consider is like I spend a lot. We both spend a lot on just tests.
Oh, yes, so
basically,
many tests,
because you got to obviously get tested before you fly out of Japan to the UK, and then you have to get
That was like $150,
which it was another $150, and then you have to pay for another test when you land in the UK as well,
Right,
which is
right.
also about $100.
Yeah.
you know?
Lots
And
of tests.
lots
So
of
many
tests.
goddamn tests.
Yeah, like if you're thinking traveling is just you just have to consider the cost of the airline. That's not a thing anymore.
Which are
Yeah.
also they've increased the prices on the flights that they know people are flying. So like the
Yeah.
direct flight from Japan to London was very expensive
Yeah.
compared to what it normally would be.
Well, you also booked very.
I did also book very late, but even then it was still more expensive normally. And so yeah, so I got this paper and I was like, great, I have this Japanese document signed the way I think. I sent a message to Raina Scully, who'd also done traveling abroad, and I was like, I sent her a picture of the signed document. I'm like, does this look okay? And she's like, yeah, it looks great. And I'm like, okay, good. But I had the next appointment the next day. The people who were like, yeah, dude, it's all okay, and I should get it signed. I'll get it signed there and all that. But to me, it didn't make sense a little bit because I was like, how are you going to sign all this stuff when I have to wait 3 hours for the results?
Yeah,
Right.
So I turn up to this test the next day because I don't even test. Why not? Let me.
Yeah.
I go there and I'm like, okay, so you need to fill out this form. Like, no. Like, I called you up and you said that you could fill out this form. And they're like, no, we don't do that. We will give you a form. I'm like, that's not good enough for Japan. I told you this
Yeah.
on the phone call, and you said it was no problem. And they were like, no, we're not doing that.
Did you not read the forum?
Yeah, and then yeah, did you not read the thread? And so then a woman came out of the office and she was like, "Oh no, come, you going to Japan?" She's like, "Oh yeah, come with me, I got you."
Yeah.
And so I go there. And I'm like, "All right, so can you fill this out?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Why aren't you going to fill it out?" She's like, "Because the form I'm going to give you is going to be enough anyway. It's going to have your passport information on it." And I'm like, all right. But already knowing that I had the signed document put me at ease. I probably would have been very uncomfortable if I was in that situation
Yeah.
and didn't have a backup. And I'm glad I didn't because I got my test results after filling out this form and doing. They were like, we promise it'll be fine. We promise this form will be enough, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, fine. So I get my results back later. It's got even less information on it and no stamp, no doctor signature than like the other test result I got to take to the doctor, which wasn't even a real one.
Right.
So they give me this piece of shit form, and then I went to the website. I should have done this before, and the reviews were like terrible for this clinic. And then I found out it was a clinic, but it was like a weird modern medicine-esque clinic. But it was a legitimate COVID testing. They were allowed to do it.
Right.
Not for official documents, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna see, because now I have two forms.
Yeah.
When I go to the airport, I'm like, I'm going to give them the shit one first and see if they accept it.
Yeah.
And they probably thought I was fucking weird for doing this as well. So I give them the form, and then they looked really confused. They looked really uncomfortable, and they brought like some staff over, and I knew they were about to talk about it. And I was like, before they said anything to me, I was like, by the way, I have another form just in case. And they looked at me like, what? What do you mean? They're like, oh, I have like another test with the form filled out. And they looked at me like I was doing something really bizarre. I imagine it would be. They were like, why didn't you just give it?
It's like, why did this guy do like a bait and switch?
Because if I paid $150 for this, I wanted to make sure that it was bullshit before
This man limit testing the system right now.
Why did you like beta test?
I wanted to see if
Don't worry, here's the full patch. I got it.
I wanted to see if I had been ripped off. And I realized now, I played Paper Please the other day, and I feel like, oh, this is what they do Paper Please. Some people just wouldn't give their passport or something. But it doesn't matter. But yeah. So
It's testing for bugs.
they didn't tell me they weren't going to accept it, but they were like bringing managers over and stuff after I handed them this form, and I was like, let's not worry, let's not kick me out. Here's the real one. Here's the real one. And,
because like I talked to like a few people who had traveled to the home country and back to Japan before I even flew, and that's how I knew about this quarantine hotel that we were going to have to stay in. We'll get to that, but every one of them told me you need to get this form that the Japanese government give you signed. Doesn't matter what any clinic says. Doesn't matter what they promise. If you don't have this form, you're not going to guarantee to get back in.
Right.
And so you have to look for a specific clinic that can fill out this exact form with a doctor. which is a lot harder to find than you originally think it is, right?
It's really difficult to find.
Yeah, there's a big difference between getting a positive COVID test, which is all you need to get out of Japan, and getting back in Japan. You need to have this exact form in order to get back in Japan. And luckily, Connor went a few days before me, so
Yeah,
I had like my own clinic booked. And hearing about his second experience, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for the proven way, and yeah, let Connor be my beta tester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, it was so stressful. I was just trying to get a goddamn piece of paper signed.
Yeah.
And it was like impossible. But you know, luckily I managed to do it. I don't know how it would be in the US. I just know that getting doctor appointments in the UK is quite a lot
Yeah.
of money. So, and again, it's kind of under a lot of criticism, rightfully so, because traveling, even though it, you know, obviously it's a luxury in general, but like they've made it ridiculously expensive to travel.
Right.
I probably spent like $600-$500 on COVID tests alone.
Yeah, same here.
Which I'm lucky enough to be able to afford that, but like it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's so then got on the plane, and then it almost felt too easy because I got on the plane and it was super easy.
Once you get once you show the paper and everything's accepted, then it's like it's the most stressless experience I've had in an airport,
Yeah,
because
pretty
it's
chill.
fucking empty because
no
no
one.
one's traveling.
No
So
one
like
in this terminal.
no
Yeah.
queue for like security or anything. You just walk straight in, and it's just a breeze. I've never had a